Um,
Who's
So,
introducing the
Hi,
show?
hello. This is the Ankh-Morpork Historians Guild, and every other week, theoretically, we read a Discworld book, and we're going through them in the order that they were published. This week, we are doing soul music.
it's not even theoretically every other week anymore. It's just whenever. Like we're we're we're
We're
doing our
doing our
best.
fucking best.
We're living our lives.
All right, we have to say our names.
Oh yes. My name is Mulch. I use they them pronouns.
My name is
My
Purtis.
name
I also use they them pronouns.
my name is Chio. I use she her pronouns.
I swear to God, we've done this before.
Okay, we got this. We're so we got this tight. Okay, yeah, soul music. I liked soul music. It was
It's a good book.
it was good.
It's a good book.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I would say soul music is a book that I like, that I'm almost really into, but doesn't quite hit, and I'm not sure why.
I
I
think
would say that it has it has elements that I'm really, really into, but they just don't necessarily gel in a way that
Okay.
yeah, for me this is I think one of the first Terry Pratchett has two like main kind of books. He's these kind of books that really focus on their story and happen to be funny. And he has these books that are funny and happen to have a story. And this is the first one of the ones that are really funny that happen to have a story that I feel like hits really well for me. Like this book is like reference after reference after reference after joke after joke after joke. A lot of the scenes are pure jokes. They don't like they don't high class or connect to the story. But they're just fun. Like they're just enjoyable.
this is very much a rock and roll retrospective book.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
fucking rock and roll's funny. It's funny that we play music and feel the way we do about it. And it's funny that we have death and that we feel the way we feel about it. Like I really delighted in that aspect of it. It really is one of those first ones that really worked for me on kind of a deeper level because his previous offerings are mostly those fucking Rincewind books, and I hate Rincewind so much that I could not possibly enjoy those books.
Yeah. No, this kind of reminded me a little bit of like it reminded me some of Moving Pictures if Moving Pictures had slightly better characterization for the main
Yeah,
characters.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's very
uh,
moving
um,
pictures.
yeah, it's a very similar like idea too. Is like Moving Pictures is like TV or like
Movies.
Hollywood.
movie Hollywood is taking over, and this or like is somewhere where it doesn't belong, and this is rock and roll is somewhere where it doesn't belong.
Yeah.
Um, and is magical and stuff. Um, yeah, for me, I liked this book and it was fun. I had some trouble just like listening through it. Like it didn't motivate me to get through it like books like Men at Arms do. But I did enjoy listening to it um and I think part of my trouble was that its characterization isn't as good as some previous books, and it is a little bit scattered. Like the storylines, like there's just a lot going on storyline wise, and they are kind of like scattered.
They're super
Um,
scattered. A lot of them aren't
yeah,
really even connected. Like,
yeah,
as
yeah,
usual in the funny books, we spend a lot of times with the wizards, and they really don't have a strong impact on the story in a grander sense.
yeah.
In
I'm
this
gonna be
It's
real.
in this case, though, I did not hate them as much as I usually do. I thought it was pretty funny.
Actually, yeah, I like the wizard bits okay. Um, this is not going to make me popular, and you two are not going to agree with this, but I just thought like the death storyline is kind of just like the same death storyline we always get.
Yeah, it is. No, I
Yeah,
think you're right.
yeah. Like I enjoy any time with death, but it was exactly the same as we get. We see him, and we only see him for a little bit in this book. Like he has like 3 scenes or so, like um,
Yeah.
of him like
Yeah.
having a crisis because his daughter died. You know, um,
Yeah. I mean,
It's mostly a book about Susan and her relationship with death and how
yeah.
she
I
feels more
think
than it
there's
is
a
about
reason
deaths.
why most death storylines, the in most death books, the death storyline is not the main focus. I think there's a good reason for that.
I mean, I think he said a lot of what he needed to say with Reaper Man.
Reaper Man, yeah,
Yeah.
which was
Like,
the ultimate death book.
yeah, and which laid out so compassionately his view on death, and it'll evolve, right? We I think Hogfather has an interesting death storyline that doesn't take over the book, but is an interesting and funnier approach to death.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, fundamentally, his storyline is fine. It's nice that he's there. I think he's funny. But no, he's not the central focus of the book, and I don't think he says anything new. I don't think that's a bad take at all.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Because I remember at the beginning, towards the beginning of the podcast, I brought up the fact that I thought a lot of the death storylines were exactly the same, and you guys like really fought me on that.
Not that they weren't similar, but that they weren't impactful despite being similar. I mean, that's kind of my view on this. Not necessarily in
Okay,
this
that's a
book,
fair take.
but like Reaper Man and like Thief of Time.
Oh
Um,
yes, yes.
yeah,
I mean, I have always liked the Reaper Man storyline,
The Reaperman storyline
and
fucks.
that storyline is excellent.
And the
Um,
Hogfather, I really do like Death storyline, and that it is impactful, and there are different things about it.
yeah, I like the Hogfather one a lot too.
And there were good
Though it's been a while
scenes.
since.
I know it has been
Yeah.
too long. There are a lot of good scenes in this that are interesting. I like the imagery, especially of Albert falling on his hourglass. Like that scene
Mm.
was really interesting to me.
yeah.
It was fucking gay. I'm
Yeah.
gonna put that in there. It was
My,
gay.
my favorite thing this book is the interactions between Buddy and Susan.
Really interesting.
Yes, I really liked the fact that they were both possessed and driven by forces beyond their control.
Yeah,
That
that's
sort of rendered them inhuman.
yeah. We all went to high school.
Semi-human. Really dug that shit.
No, I thought it was cool. This is the first time that I felt that Nigel Planer's reading really frustrated me. Because
Did not like Susan's voice.
the voice he does for Susan is awful. It's a disgrace. That's not what she sounds like.
I don't
I so rarely feel so intensely.
understand how somebody could read Susan's description and go like, yeah, this is the voice I'm gonna go for her.
Yeah. I don't understand
Super
it at all.
intense, super intense, super sharp character, and he gives her this like
Nasal, almost
slightly
whiny
dim
voice.
sounding voice.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hated the voice he gave her. I don't understand. And the way he enunciated a lot of the lines was, in my opinion, incorrect.
Yeah.
That is never how I've read Susan, and a lot of the readings he gave her, I just didn't understand. I just don't understand why he went with those, honestly, and I
Yeah,
don't know why
yeah.
somebody else didn't stop him.
Yeah.
It was the first time I really felt at odds with one of his readings, which is a huge disappointment.
Yeah, is he still gonna be the reader for like Hogfather, or have they switched over by then?
That's a good question. I have no idea. But
Okay.
he's also not playing Child Susan, so he will have changed the
Yeah.
voice regardless.
Her voice being
Yeah.
different in Hogfather.
This isn't the first time that Terry Pratchett's written a 16-year-old as a child.
I know,
Uh,
huge win.
yeah.
Genuinely,
Uh,
like, very proud of him.
instead of marryable material. Yeah. And yeah,
It's
it was cool to
always
see Susan for the first time.
It is really cool to see Susan the first time, and it's really cool always to see Terry Pratchett go to one of his ideas that he just feels he didn't do very well. And I was
Mhm.
really excited for him to go back to this one, especially because it is, I mean, obviously I knew in advance, but like, it is an idea with so much potential. The idea of Death's daughter being just like
Mhm.
a person is so incredible and so funny. And I was so glad to see him go back to it. And it's interesting to see how he's choosing to interpret it. They are the same
Mhm.
age, right? In the
Yeah.
first book, she's 16.
Yeah.
What's her name? So that we can.
Uh,
Isabel?
Isabel.
Isabel or
Isabel.
Yeah.
it's not
Isabel, but
quite
with a Y
Isabel.
instead of an I.
Um, Isabel, but Spanish. I don't know.
It's it's not pronounced Isabel, but I don't remember what it's pronounced.
We're going to say it
It's
Isabel.
pronounced Isabel. At
We're,
Oh,
least the
okay.
reader chose to pronounce it Isabel.
I'm also choosing to pronounce it Isabel. Isabel.
Okay.
Like, she sucked as a character. She was also 16. They were just like so horny. It had that terrible fucking romance. It was like not good. It was really, really
Say
frustrating.
that at that point, Isabel was the best female character that Terry Pratchett had written.
Very possible. That
Like
Mort
I
is not very.
specifically remember remarking upon it.
Mort is only
like
the
The
fourth
fact
book in the
that,
fucking series, so our
yeah,
options
I mean, like the fact that
are
she had a personality that wasn't like evil seductress or like the fact that she had a personality outside of either being a cutthroat seductress or a love interest point like
yeah, I don't know. Isabel
major
feels
departure.
and still feels to me like a fucking Barbie. Um, I
I
she
mean,
was
I like the
she
bits
was
about her going back. I like the bits about her going back and reading through like of tragic lovers and like crying about it.
yeah, that's true.
yeah.
I
She
do
had
Good
her
that.
time,
moments.
but she's
Sh-
good for that level of Pratchett, but
That was a
still
low level
not
of
good.
Pratchett. Yeah.
Yeah, still not good.
Anyways, it's lovely to see it go back. I found the little touching moments between Susan and Death to be like shockingly impactful. Like
Hmm.
talking about the swing,
Yeah.
I really loved it.
Yeah.
Like it really made me happy. Um it really hit for me, even though the two had so little interaction and to some level on this book, and it wasn't really a story about death. Those little moments really fleshed out both of these things, and it was
Yeah.
just
In many
terribly
ways,
exciting for me.
Yeah.
soul music also feels like a more thoughtful take on Mort.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in many ways, it's just going back to the same idea.
It has a lot of the same plot beats that Mort had, where Mort centered around Mort's saving the life of sparing the life of a um, person he was supposed to uh,
Carry on. Yeah.
carry on. Yeah, and something very similar happens in this book, and it follows a very similar course.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she isn't technically the person who spared Buddy or resurrected Buddy.
She
If
was
she
going to.
wanted to.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah,
thing.
she was going
Yeah.
to.
It was a cool answer to the problem of, well, I don't want her to actually destroy the entire universe and be at fault for doing this terrible thing. but I want her to have wanted to do this. It's
Yeah,
a funny
yeah.
solve because it was a major problem that like it was easy to read Isabel as like just or not, Isabel and Mort and that whole situation as like Romeo and Juliet stupid kids destroying the entire world. Um but in this it gives away that she's genuinely not at fault. Um and she remains reasonable and level-headed because she just didn't get to make that choice. It's kind of interesting as a solve. Um, and I think that like this storyline also gains a lot of benefit from not being as story based as Mort was, to be honest, which is also unique and interesting to me. Like a lot of the problem with Mort felt like it ran on for no reason. I don't know if you all remember, but that was like a major
Yeah.
complaint. There just not a lot actually happens in that story. It just goes on and on and on. But making this more of a comedy than a drama meant that that's fine. Pack it with fucking jokes. Get Nobby Knobs
Mhm.
looking at a gate like an idiot. Get fucking Monkey playing piano. Get a dude addicted to drugs in a like very real way.
All those normal jokes.
Normal jokes.
Like, yeah.
Um, like I think that was a really smart, really clever decision. And the book's hilarious. Like it really is packed with jokes. And it's interesting because like it's hard to make jokes land so frequently and to put so many in a book. And it's hard to discuss that in a deeper literary sense. But
Mhm.
um it is an incredible skill that Terry Pratchett shows in droves. And, we have done so much talk about how his narrative writing comes together, that orchestral collapse that he does so well. But he does it with jokes too. And I love the rapid fire pace that he can pull everything together and the way that he can make everything move so quickly and his references meld together in such a sweet
Mhm.
and kind way. Because, like, that's the other part. It's easy to be satirical and start to become cynical and hateful towards people. And more
Yes.
than anything, it always feels like he's on our side. That when he's laughing, he's recognizing that behavior in himself too. He's recognizing that humanity is just a little absurd, or maybe a lot. And that's kind of hilarious. Um,
Mhm.
Yes.
It's really, really delightful. He is
Yeah,
just a
Terry
touching
Pratchett is
author.
never mean. Maybe part of his the longevity of his appeal, the fact that he is not a cruel writer.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's something you can feel in everything he does. Like, it's one thing to be, not cruel. It's another to be able to put that love for humanity, that feeling of being on the same side in almost everything you create. And that is really,
Mhm.
truly the stunning thing about his work, to me
Yeah.
at least. I love
Yeah.
Terry Pratchett. Just, I just love him. Um,
Yeah.
It does mean though that I can't dissect the frog, and I really don't feel like I have that much to say about this book.
Mhm. And um, one thing I found interesting about this book is that he's like Susan's reaction to her parents dying isn't emotional, but then she still makes like it feels like at the end when she sees them crash, she and like I don't know, there's just one line that's like she's still not feeling anything, but she wouldn't be human if she didn't ask about like going back and saving them. I found that really interesting that she's like not having an emotional reaction to this, but she's still making that logical choice to inquire down that line. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but
It
I found
does.
that really interesting.
It does. I thought it was interesting too. And I had read it personally as more of a, like, generally she's accepted this thing. Like, she knows that they're dead and she
Yeah,
knows she can't really do anything, but she has to ask because,
yeah,
that's what we do.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, the impression I got from the first scene with her and uh, the teacher when she's a little kid telling her that our parents have died was that she knew long before the teacher did that they were dead and had like
yeah.
accepted it, already come to terms with it.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's interesting. I had read it as generally having come to terms with death, not that she had known that her parents would die.
Oh,
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know, uh, if I don't know what I think about that because I think it's possible that it was a reference to her remembering the future,
Hmm.
but I also think it's possible that that's just who she is. That they were just saying, like, this is just how she handles
Everything.
death, and this is yeah, and everything. So I don't know where I fall where what I think of that bit. Um, very interesting though.
Fuck, I love Terry
Um,
Pratchett.
yeah, yeah. Um, no, I liked this a lot. Buddies was interesting to me too because he was like moving pictures where he was basically possessed for most of the book, but it was interesting to me like with Susan he broke through and seemed like a person again. Even when like with his bandmates he was just like nothing. Um, so like I also found those interactions interesting just because of that. Um,
I
and like
really
I did really like him.
Go ahead.
Oh, and I did really like him breaking through at the end with the harp. I thought that was really well done. Um, yeah, go ahead.
I really liked Buddy, and I really liked his story as another addiction story from Terry Pratchett.
Mhm,
It is very much like a rock and roll star falling to a type of addiction. You know,
mhm,
it's not drugs, but it follows the same path. He starts isolating, he starts lashing out, he starts feeling faded out from the normal world, the sober world. The only thing that matters to him
mhm.
is his fix. And ultimately, he is brought back because his friends reach out, because they recognize his slope downward, and because they do material things to connect with him and to help him,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. I was
without like hurting him, which was
mhm,
I had not
lovely.
realized it, but now that you say it, it's so like I didn't recognize it as an addiction story when I was reading it, but now that you say it, it's so clear.
Yeah,
mhm. Um, yeah. I was so glad that giving him the harp actually made an impact. Like, because he was just so checked out at that point that I was like, I'm so worried that this is just gonna do nothing, or like, he's gonna reject it. Um, but just the fact that it made an impact and the way that it made an impact was so well done.
it really was.
And yeah,
Yeah.
I really, really liked that.
Yeah.
I
Um,
think another way that Buddy continued to feel like a person in a way that a lot of the characters in moving pictures didn't after they were possessed is that um when Buddy uh came possessed by the music, it kind of took an element of his personality that was already there, then narrowed him down to that single point.
yeah, yeah. I agree with you, and I think
Like a
it's
lot of the
part
things
of
he
what makes
said
us.
and yeah, like a lot of the things he said and did while under the possession of the music were things that he believed and said before he was possessed. It's just that became like a single point of focus.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it play much better as like a compassionate addiction story, right? Like I think
Mhm,
that that's important to it. When you become addicted, you don't like magically transform into a different person. It might feel like that to your friends and family, but you don't. You really are still the same person. You just have this thing now that's itching away at you. It hurts and hurts and hurts. And keeping that connection, making it clear that he is the same man and like does truly believe the same things, and pointing out how addiction doesn't start from touching the thing, right? It doesn't start from taking the drug. It starts from being lonely or being obsessive or having this thing that you
Mhm.
want so bad and can't have. Um it's
Yeah.
really touching in many ways. I am really interested in seeing Terry Pratchett write these addiction stories several times over, because we just did this with Men at Arms as well.
Mhm.
Um, and it's clearly
Yeah, it
something
is
he
really
was
interesting.
thinking a lot about during this period in his life, which is interesting.
It
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Um, no, it really is, and yeah, I did like soul music. Um,
Yeah, I really liked this book.
just I think the only thing I really wish from it is that it had been more coherent. Um,
Yeah.
because I liked all of the aspects of it. I just had trouble following along with it, and that made it harder to sit down and listen to, like, in one go. Um, like, I took the longest, with this one than I have with one of these books in a while, just because of that, even though I really enjoy this book.
I think in some ways the way I read it really helped me with this, because
Mhm.
background knowledge. We delayed the podcast because we were trying to get that fucking dollar. Um,
I
uh,
got a new job and was waiting for my schedule to come through.
yep. Because of that, I kind of picked at this book. I listened to it, maybe an hour 45 minutes at a time.
Mhm.
And days apart. I mean, I took a break, for a week and lost my
Yeah.
place. And it definitely makes the narrative parts hit less, and it makes the jokes hit better. Um, but at the same time, I think it was a really nice way to read this like very, very funny book. There are
Yeah.
so many rapid fire jokes and so many disconnected scenes and transitions that it it is hard to just blast through it. I started picking apart at it at first because I just couldn't pay attention to it for that long.
Mhm.
Like, not really pay attention to it, which definitely had nothing to do with the fact that I started antidepressants and they nearly killed me. But
Oh,
Yeah, that was pretty awful.
that was
That
pretty
was
bad.
a not good
yeah.
time in your life.
Yeah.
Um,
But that like was a really nice way to listen to it. And it
mhm.
would have been a nice way to read it too, I believe.
Yeah.
Because it does. It really drifts around. I mean, you go a bunch of places, and a lot of them don't matter in the overall sense of that word.
Yeah.
um, you know, do you
It
need
was
to watch the like oldest wizard have a weird argument with the second oldest wizard? No, but it is fucking hilarious.
Yes.
mhm. Um, yeah. Uh,
Such an evolution of his humor.
the
It's fantastic.
yeah. The wizards were a lot better in this book. I still don't enjoy my time with them that much, but, like, I enjoy my time with other people more, but they were a lot better in this book, and,
I
it
think
was fun to
Ridcully
watch.
was a really great addition to the cast.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Rid Curly makes the wizards a lot better.
And
Um,
and this is exactly the kind of like wizards involvement I like in a story, where they like don't really do anything. You just like flash over them and they're doing like some stupid bullshit. for like no apparent reason and kind of fuck a bunch of shit up, and it's just funny. Like you're not really supposed to feel for them. You're not supposed to like connect with these fucking guys. They're just a bunch of bumbling rich idiots who are ruining everything, both like
Yeah.
for themselves and for other people. And
I
they're
like the
hilarious.
students.
And yes, oh my god. Yes, the idea that like there are a bunch of grad students who are hyper competent but like get no respect it's hilarious. It's fucking
Yeah.
incredible. It's really, really funny. And that's kind of all I want the Wizards to be. Like my favorite appearance of the Wizards is always shit like that. Like he does this again in Hogfather, and it's incredibly good.
Mhm.
You know, they have that stupid bathtub and they hang out with the god of hangovers. Like, oh, and they bother death
Yes.
regularly. Like
God, I
that's
love the God of Hangovers.
I do too, and I would kiss him on the mouth.
My soul.
Well, maybe not the mouth. I'll kiss him somewhere else. Fucking love that guy.
Is very probably has bad breath, but is
Yeah,
very
he is
kissable.
he's so kissable. We'll get to it. My attraction to men is unstoppable.
Yeah.
It's true. I am always saying this about you.
I love men. Men hit me up. Don't,
Yeah.
but do. Yeah, that's all I just don't have a lot to say about this book because it's just funny. It's like just fucking hilarious. And to pick apart and sit here and say, oh, this joke was really well done is not very interesting to me.
I do like the roles he can throw Dibbler into, though. Like he can just that is such a like he can just throw that man into any money oriented situation, which is really fun.
Yeah. I mean, you know, in any book that contains godly possession, Cut-Me-Own Throat Dibbler has a fair chance to become the godly possession of capitalism, which is incredible. I love the bit that he solved this time because in moving pictures, Dibbler gets mind wiped and is like not as interesting. It's so fucking funny to me that he's just like, no, I'm not gonna listen to that shit. What are you talking about? You fucking idiot. I'm not gonna listen to that fucking thing. I do like to think he remembers what happened with the fucking moving pictures. It's like I'm not getting caught this time. I'm staying fucking sober.
Still gonna make money off of it, but
Clearly.
not getting possessed.
Yeah.
Very funny.
Yeah, Cut-Me-Own Throat Dibbler is a really great character. I think this is his best book.
He was really good in this one.
He was really fucking good. He was really funny. And he does not have like a lot of other major appearances after this, right?
I don't think so.
Don't
No.
think so.
Yeah.
He's
Might
a
be his-
regular member of the supporting cast inside of Guards.
Yeah.
I think this is the last like Dibbler centric story.
Yes. He does like have a major moment in Night Watch, but he's not Dibbler centric.
Yeah.
He's just around after this. But this is a hell of a good send off because fuck, it's so funny.
Yeah. It is very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool to see the mob boss and get some more like context to him since we see him later.
Oh, Chrysler Praise?
Like yeah.
I like Chrysler Praise.
I do too.
Yeah. I feel like this put a little bit more context of his like role in the city cuz we see him later doing shit.
We see Chrysler Praise a lot later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Thud.
I love Thud. Fuck, I love that book so much. Thud may be my favorite Vimes book.
Might be mine.
It's such a good book. Makes me cry.
Damn, I love Feet of Clay too.
Makes me cry every time.
I'm very excited to read Feet of Clay, not abridged.
When do we get to Night Watch? Oh, we're still like 2 years away from Night Watch. God.
Feet of Clay is next, right?
No.
In the
Do you know what's
No?
next?
No, I
What?
fear it is Interesting Times.
Hey
Oh,
y'all.
I hate that
Worst
for us.
one.
Hey y'all. I had a vision. I had a vision while staring at the fire the other day. What if we do a So Interesting Times is the last Rincewind book.
Mhm.
Would you all do a little celebration drinking episode?
Sh-
Because I fucking am not gonna
Sure.
have anything to say. I fucking hate Rincewind so much. And and the idea
is
of being rid of
The
him,
worst Rincewind book.
it's so
would-
it's so bad. This book sucks shit. I'm sorry.
I
It
would
is
be
like
willing to do the next episode drunk. Yes.
it is one of my least. I like. It's yeah.
Celebrating the end of the Rincewind books. I sorry to tell you, it's going to be like another year
No, no,
or
no.
2 more after Interesting Times.
This is the last one where he is like the main character, though, right? Because he has the last.
No,
Doesn't he
you
has the
forgot
last?
Last Continent.
Oh God! When does he die?
It's a
Because I
nice
don't count the
retirement with
Last
the
Hero.
Wizards.
I don't think the Last Hero counts as a Rincewind book to me.
He is a That is fair. It's more of like a Conan the Barbarian story, and like Rincewind is like barely inside of fuck, I forgot the name of the good one.
Unseen
Uh
Academicals.
One with the gobby in academicals.
Yeah, yeah. Unseen Academicals. He's barely in it. He's not really in that book.
He's in it for 2 seconds. You just get to see that he got to retire, basically.
Yeah, it's like, hey, remember this guy? And then we move on, and that's all I need. Fuck, I did forget. What if we just skip the last comment? Just like pass over that. Fuck me.
No,
Oh, I
I
meant
read it, so you guys have to read it too.
You have such a twisted sense of morality.
what I meant by Feet of Clay being the next is I meant it was the next Watch book, which it is.
Oh,
Yes,
yes,
that
yes.
is correct.
That is correct. Sorry, I
Yeah, so
misunderstood you.
it's 2 books away. We have Interesting Times and Masquerade. Masquerade, which is
Masquerade is good.
I don't remember
Yeah.
Masquerade at all.
Um,
We are getting into the good shit though. Once we hit Feet
Of
of
the
Clay and
opera.
Hogfather, I live in joy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I haven't read Masquerade since I was very, very little.
Do we have anything else to say about soul music?
I really don't.
Like,
We should rank it.
Yeah, we have to rank it. I think it's an incredible evolution of his humorous style. I think it succeeds in every place where Mort, and to some extent even The Color of Magic and The Light Fantastic, like failed, with its chaotic, humorous story structure really working out, for me at least, where I felt it failed in Color of Magic and Light Fantastic. I really enjoy this book. However, it does not move me to the same degree as a lot of other things. I personally, on my own list, I'm probably gonna rank it 6th or 7th.
That's funny. That's also where I am struggling. I'm trying to decide if I like it more or less than Lords and Ladies.
I'm making the
tying into
exact same decision. I think it
Yeah.
is. I think I
put it-
like it better.
Below Lords and Ladies and above Moving Pictures.
That's where I put it on my
So
list.
on our
I think-
group
I think-
list, that would put it at 7th or 8th. Sorry, 7th? No, I can count.
It's above. I can't see where's the group list again? 'Cause
I think
I'm
both
not seeing it in-
Michi and I are preserving our own individual.
Second, I'll drop a link in the chat.
should have it. I just don't. Oh wait, no, I found it. Guards, Weird Sisters, Lords and Ladies. Yeah, I think it should be between Lords and Ladies and Moving Pictures.
Yeah, so 7th
Yeah.
on our group list. I'm fine with that. I like it more than Lords and Ladies, I think. But
Yeah.
I do think it's really hard to rank like his humorous books against his narrative books. Because the thing about the narrative books is like they bowl you over to such a degree. And
Mhm.
while I was laughing the entire time I was listening to soul music in my own way, I it's not going to bowl me over the same thing. And it's hard to rank
Yeah.
those two traits against each other. Because I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
to some extent, writing an incredibly humorous book that makes you laugh very consistently and does have a moving story is harder than writing a purely narrative, incredible book.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Um,
fair.
but it's hard to say that the book you won't remember every detail of in a year is better than the book you will, or the book that will like change you. Um,
Mhm.
and I think I'm saying this to point out that there is a fundamental flaw in ranking. And if you are listening to this and you're like, soul music changed me, and I remember every part of this book forever, I think you're like so fucking valid. Honestly, I think you're right. I think soul music is an incredible piece of work. Um, there are just two different traits in storytelling, and it's impossible to rank them against each other.
Yeah.
And yet we must, as we have but a single list.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, we have our own list too, but
Yes.
okay.
Listen, Small Gods
So-
is still at top, and that's all I need.
Yeah.
'Cause that book is incredibly funny and incredibly hard hitting. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
that's what truly matters to me.
So we've talked about the top of the list. Let's talk about the bottom of the list.
I'm actually
This is
making
just
a
me
new category for sorcery that moves it even lower into a worse section.
saying I'm just going to say that I'm going to be lobbying very hard for Interesting Times to be dead bottom.
Sorcery is really bad. I
You don't
hate
get
Interesting
it.
Times.
Interesting Times is so bad.
I have read Interesting Times and I do fucking hate it. Like, don't get me wrong. For sure, Interesting Times is going to be it's going to be in there at the very, very bottom for the entirety of this fucking search. We're not going to hit a. There's nothing. It is tied like Sorcery, Interesting Times, Last Continent. Those are bottom of the barrel fucking books. Those are bottom of the barrel fucking books.
I think Last Continent is worse than Sorcery, but I also hate Sorcery less than you two do.
I fucking hate Sorcery. Oh my god.
Hate it.
Interesting
Hate
Times.
It. Hate it.
The thing about Interesting Times is that it is all racism front to back. Just like most of the Rinsman books have like a little bit of racism or like a lot of racism.
A lot of racism.
This one is all racism. Like this is all racism.
Oh, this is the one where the luggage fucks though. So automatic number 1.
That's very funny.
It's so funny
but-
that the luggage fucks.
The
I don't
luggage
think I've read
does
this one.
fuck, and that is the one good part of Interesting Times.
Yeah.
This
Just
is
a
like
precursor
Yellow
to
Peril special.
It is Yellow Peril. Just a precursor for our audience who might not have read Interesting Times, how just like fascinatingly racist Interesting Times is. It is literally set in the Orient, and he calls that the whole book. It's the official name for that area in Discworld.
Oh no.
And he makes it up, and it, I think, only appears in this book, The Orient. So
I don't remember it being called the Orient, but it is like it's where Two Flower is from, and Two Flower appears again, and he ruins Two Flower.
Oh, buddy, it is called the Orient. It's spelled Auriient. It's the actual real name for this area.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I did
hate
not
that.
remember that bit.
Yeah, no. It is very, very, very much called the Orient. It is. It's a lot.
It is a matchup of like Imperial China. It's got little bits of Japan in there. It is basically just like every East Asian stereotype smashed together.
Yes. Yeah, it's Imperial China, and it's whew, it's a
Love
rough
this for
book.
us.
It's really rough.
love that we're going to experience this.
Oh
Um,
god, you're right. It is set in the
I'm
Oh my
fascinated by the fact
god.
that you thought I would just like fucking lie to you on air.
No, I thought you misremembered because I remember yeah, I just remembered it as the Agatean Empire, and that's what I
No,
remember it being referred to throughout the book.
no, it's the Orient. I wish I was wrong. Like I do, I really do.
I find the Wikipedia thing for this really funny because it says set in the Orient and then in brackets a fictional analog of the Orient.
I'm pulling up the Wikipedia page. Oh no. I do love when you get to hit a Wikipedia page that's like got all of the problems listed at the top, and you know that the talk page is going to be incredible.
This is gonna be fun. I'm not looking forward. I am still willing to do this next episode drunk, even though it's not a
No,
celebration.
it has to. We have to do it for the last one.
We
I
have to do it
totally
for the
forgot
last
the
one.
last continent.
Yeah.
So I think when we do the last continent,
is less
Oh.
it's less actively offensive than either sorcery or interesting times, but it is extremely boring. Just like
Mhm.
very boring.
God.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't really remember interesting times that well, but I remember being like, okay, this is like very clearly wildly racist, but there are like parts of it that really work. And it'll be interesting to talk about this. I do fucking hate this book though.
When did you last read it?
I was. I mean, we would have been in middle school. So
Mhm.
Okay, I wonder if you still think that.
I think that there are. I mean,
Well, we'll
you
find
know,
out.
it's still a Terry Pratchett book. We're 19 deep. I think there are going to be moments which really work. Like even
You will be shocked by how little of this is any good at all.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair
Like the
enough.
luggage is a good boy. The luggage is always a good boy.
God, the
I love
luggage is a
him.
good boy.
But otherwise, like it is like a shockingly bad book.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not excited
Okay.
for him to go to the Orient.
Yeah, it was a bad idea.
Um.
He fucked up.
Oh, we
Um,
do have something else to add to this episode. This is so important. I can't believe I nearly forgot. Thank you to every person who commented that that dog is not Hitler. That dog is not Hitler. We have won. The votes are out. I'm sorry. That dog is not Hitler.
Yep. We've got 4 votes now against your 1.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but that dog is not Hitler. I read that. I revisited those sections. I don't think that dog's Hitler.
I think you're all just wrong.
I think if
Like,
I think if
that
anything,
dog is
if anything, I think that dog's narratives more closely resemble the racial like pushes of the various civil rights movements during the 1960s.
no, I'm pretty sure that dog is supposed to be Hitler.
Well, I will agree to
Like the
disagree.
public executions, for one thing.
I mean, you know, other people than Hitler can do public executions, right?
No, I would say like the inter-party purgings. Let me rephrase that.
I mean, other people than Hitler did those too. I wish it was only Hitler.
But I feel like the dog was very clearly coded as being Hitler.
Well, it was
We
it was
can't-
it was very clear to you,
can't do-
but everybody else disagrees.
Yeah, we can't do this again. We're
You
moving on.
you would dare second guess our faithful fucking listeners who sat down and commented on a 3-hour review of this book. These motherfuckers clearly know what they are doing. They are as insane as we are, and I really appreciate them. They say the dog's not Hitler.
Okay, is that that all we gotta say on soul music and other Rincewind books? Not other Rincewind books.
No, I can't wait. I'm not excited for interesting times. Fuck me. I don't have anything else to say. Read Soul Music. It's a good book. It's like a really good book.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to say again because it's humor. You can't pick apart the frog. Whatever the fuck. This is in some ways a ringing endorsement of the book itself. Similar to how I felt I did not have anything meaningful to add to Small Gods. This is a book that speaks for itself. It's incredibly funny. It's incredibly witty, and it does have a touching story that I liked, even if it wasn't like a big complex shebang. And definitely recommend this book. That's all.
Cool.
I should play Disco Elysium.
Oh, you should. Yeah. No, you should. I think you'd
Looks
really like it.
good.
Yeah, no, I think you'd really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Fucking a lot of reading though.
Okay.
Fucking take a Ritalin for that one.
Okay, signing off. See you guys later.
I wish we had a cool sign-off thing to say. We've done like 20 episodes. We don't have a cool sign-off thing to say. We're lame.
Well, if you can think of one, we'll start adding it in.
What? I need your help.
If I come up with any ideas, I'll send them to you. But
We were gonna
probably
do that riddle
not
thing, but I really
this
gave
time.
up on it because you really don't get
Yeah.
riddles, which is incredibly
No, I
funny
do
to me,
not.
but I don't think to other people.
I really don't.
Audience,
I don't like.
audience, if you've made it to the end, this is probably our shortest episode. If you've made it to the end,
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. You're my little baby. And
Weird,
hit me up.
weird place to take it. But yeah. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Yeah, man. Me too.
I was very stressed out that I hadn't finished the book last night. So I made myself sleep from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock because that's the most important sleeping time according to my aunt. And then I set an alarm for like every hour, trying to get myself to listen to the book. It worked eventually. It means I have not gotten very much
Mulch,
sleep
holy
tonight.
shit. Holy shit, buddy.
Michi, you have no room. Not you. You have shown up an hour late to a recording because you were listening to the book.
That is true. But also, I wasn't saying, oh, you procrastinated on reading the book. I was saying, holy shit, that is an incredibly self-destructive thing to do.
It's normal.
It's normal. We're so normal
This
about
is-
fucking everything.
This is, in fact, how I do manage my ADHD. In general.
Manage is such an incredible word to be using right now.
Mulch,
This is how it
you
happens.
kind of manage your ADHD. You do not manage your anxiety. Your anxiety is unmanaged.
I'm not gonna.
Be fair,
I think your anxiety is better managed than your ADHD.
My anxiety is what keeps my ADHD under control. No?
I take it back. I take back the thing I said. It's wrong and bad, obviously. Disproven so rapidly. That's what I give for trying to stick up for a motherfucker.
I don't know what you guys mean. I think what I said was normal.
No.